Hello everyone, I hope you're all well. So most of the time, when a client says, ads aren't working anymore, they're not really talking about ads. Truthfully, they're probably under a lot of pressure, pressure in business, pressure on revenue, and pressure because things just are generally tough. You know, Ads, sadly, are the most logical place to blame when leads aren't coming in because they're the things that are running daily, weekly, and of course they cost money. What's interesting though is in our research in 2025 when we researched the topic, it's often nothing has really changed inside the ad account. Budgets are still the same, targeting is the same, and that creative spark hasn't moved at all. So what we saw was nothing had changed at all. However, usually what has shifted is the narrative. So sadly, paid ads become that place to blame. It's a logical place to blame. Now, what never ever gets spoken about is how much can change around ads without understanding the change around ads. Things like messaging shifts or offers get, adjusted, which make, sales conversations drift, which then makes, follow up slow down, and something, sometimes something's not broken at all. It's just really less aligned. And this causes the client to control. Now, do you know what the conclusion is? And it's always this way. Ads must not be working. And this is why the internet is full of content about ads suddenly stopping. Things like they talk about, I don't know, things like, new algorithms or platform updates. These technical explanations are all, quite comforting, but because they give that illusion of control. But very little of that content ever talks about narrative interference. Things like who decides what success looks like, who is allowed to change things, and how often is the definition of working, quietly moves without, being agreed. So in those environments, paid media doesn't fail. It absorbs that blame, and that's not because it's broken, but it's just been exposed. And this is why these conversations repeat across industries and agencies. It's really not a platform issue, and it's really not even a performance issue. It's what happens when, demand is visible, but control isn't. And until that imbalance, is concealed, the story will always sound the same. Ads aren't working, even when nothing has actually changed. Until next time, I'll see you soon. Bye for now.